When a musician goes on to become one of the biggest acts ever, a lot of times you'll see their homes become tourism sites, sometimes even museums to their career, like with Graceland and Elvis Presley. Well, the same is true for Angus and Malcolm Young's childhood residence from AC/DC, of course, one of the biggest bands of all time. And they got a big tour coming up in 2025. I've got the dates up on your screen. Don't want to miss that, with support from the Pretty Reckless. And unfortunately, they got some really bad news recently, learning that their childhood home was demolished by accident. How does that even happen, ladies and gentlemen? Let's take a look at what went down. Music legends Angus and Malcolm Young had humble beginnings. 4 Burleigh Street in Burwood, Sydney, a small home where they moved in back in 1965. Less than 10 years later, they would form AC/DC in that very home. It's hard to even quantify the impact that AC/DC has had and continues to have on music, so it would come as no surprise that in 2013, the home was added to the National Trust Register of Historic Houses. Just as I mentioned earlier, Elvis's Graceland is a tourist site, and even Paul McCartney opened his childhood home, where artists can now write and perform music. It's a truly special way to witness where it all began and the inspiration they felt at the time that they wanted to start their band. So you can imagine the shock and heartbreak that Angus felt when he learned that the childhood home that he and his late brother grew up in has been demolished by accident. What the hell is going on? According to reports, the property was demolished to make way for a local multi-million-dollar development, and they were unaware of the significance of the property. How do you not know a house in Australia belonged to the Angus brothers? You'd have to imagine that fans would be showing up on a daily or almost daily basis to view the residence, as is the case with many other stars' childhood homes. But according to the development property manager, they claim that they had no idea. They released a statement saying they're going to do what they can to honor their legacy. They issued a statement saying, "We regret that the previous long-term owner did not share this vital part of the property's background with us. Learning about this connection after our plans were already underway has shocked us. We are genuinely sorry for this oversight. On behalf of the team at Burwood Square, I want to convey our heartfelt regret. We now recognize how deeply this location resonates with the AC/DC community and fans worldwide. We feel a strong responsibility to honor AC/DC's legacy and to make amends to all the fans who hold this band in such high regard. While we cannot change the past, we are dedicated to celebrating this significant part of their story. To the global fan base of AC/DC, please know that we hear you, appreciate your deep admiration for this legendary band, and are devoted to making this right." The property where AC/DC had their humble beginnings was demolished for a $28 million residential development. And despite the fact that fans are downright furious about this, the developer has already revealed plans to try and make this right. They claim that they're going to set up a bar or cafe on the property where fans can visit and celebrate the band's enduring legacy. I find it hard to believe that they had no idea that this was the childhood home of Angus and Malcolm Young and where AC/DC was actually formed. And there are a lot of people wondering whether or not, because this was a historic property, if this was illegal. And it turns out it wasn't. In a statement released by the local council, they explained, quote, "As it is not heritage listed or protected under local or state legislation, and because the National Trust is a community-based, non-government organization with no statutory authority, the property does not have enforceable protections. Burwood Council remains committed to finding new ways to celebrate the Young family and the area's rich musical heritage." And I wonder what Angus Young is going to have to say about this. Now, again, the property developer notes that they're going to be opening some sort of a cafe. Is this going to be an official AC/DC cafe, or are they just going to put up some AC/DC trinkets around and sell a bunch of coffee? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But very unfortunate situation. It's almost hard to believe how something like that can happen. But it sounds like they didn't do anything wrong from a legal standpoint. Anyways, that's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.